social workers are known for not being anchored into an office behind a closed door talking to someone for 50 minutes and that's it. We oftentimes are in the community. We're with our clients. We go where they go. We want to understand that and that's where the healing takes place.
Dr. Ray Scurfield has spent a lifetime devoted to helping people heal, and he has no plans to slow down.
I've had a rich and varied and very satisfying career. You know, my 4 years on active duty as a social work officer, I had the opportunity to serve my country. I had 25 years in the VA, and I got to direct several different programs in different parts of the country. And then I had a 13-year career with the University of Southern Mississippi as a faculty member, able to bring my real-life experiences into the classroom. And now as a clinical social worker in a private practice, seeing people who have money and seeing people who are on Medicare and Medicaid and everybody in between.
Ray has touched a lot of lives and made a lot of fans in this Gulf Coast community. Social worker Virginia Adolph is one of them.
To have Dr. Scurfield as a professional colleague and to have him as a professional resource in the community right here, not somewhere else, but to have him right here and accessible and available, you can't ask for any more. You know that he's going to be there, and he has, as the young people would say, has your back.
Recognized internationally for his work with trauma survivors, Ray is used to having people's backs. He credits his mother for inspiring him to a life of service, but acknowledges that his career path was heavily influenced by his time in the military as a social work officer.
When I got orders for Vietnam, that's then where I was thrown into the middle of trauma. And I didn't realize it at the time, but basically I've been involved in trauma most of the rest of my professional life.
Ray's training and experience taught him to deal with trauma. It also made him outspoken in his feelings about war.
The best way to deal with war-related trauma is not to have war and to prevent unnecessary war.
But sometimes human suffering is unavoidable. If Ray thought he had left the battlefield behind when he left the Veterans Administration, August 29, 2005 changed all that. On that day, Hurricane Katrina came crashing down on the Gulf Coast. In the aftermath, the School of Social Work where Ray's office had been looked a lot like Ground Zero. Ray recalls using humor to cope with the trauma.
I sat there in the middle of the debris on Dr. Pat Davis's love seat and did a picture for the camera. And I had to do that because if I hadn't done that, I probably would have just broken down, sobbing at the devastation and the loss.
But once the initial shock wore off, Ray realized there was work to be done. The Gulf Park campus had no counselor, so Ray volunteered for the position, making himself available to students, faculty, and staff. Professor James Pat Smith, who was working to relocate the campus, remembers Ray's contribution.
Ray Scurfield was absolutely instrumental in helping faculty and staff with their housing problems and with their own psychological distress after Katrina. About a third of the faculty and students were dehoused and in various states of distress over those problems. So we have a lot of confidence in the name Ray Scurfield.
One of his former students and now a social work colleague, Stephanie Schindler, says she used Ray's teachings and guidance to get through that difficult time.
Every time I think of Dr. Scurfield, Gestalt theory pops in my mind. Living in the here and now. I think that's something that he has taught his students and colleagues. When I was in school, Katrina hit, and we were right in the meat of our program. He made sure that we still got the knowledge that we needed to be successful social workers and be productive and make a difference in our community.
Ray himself keeps finding new ways to make a difference. Since retiring, he has had 2 books published about war and healing. He encourages his students and other social workers to do more research and writing, which he believes will strengthen the profession. For Ray, the path ahead is still filled with possibilities.
My mission is to interact with people and to share with them and to learn more from them and to learn more how I can be better at who I am and what I do.